For our last panel this afternoon, we're looking at energy transition prospect for national growth. I was saying earlier in the day that the conversation these days should be energy mix, because the transition, we've been told by the global north that energy security far outweighs energy transition. And if that is the case, we should continue our conversations in that regard. Okay, onwards to the panel we go now. Let me begin by inviting our first panelist to join us on the podium, and that is the head sustainability at NNPC. Let's welcome Mr. Chinedu Igwe. He's on our panel. A round of applause. Joining Chinedu, I'd like to welcome the Program Implementation Manager enabling Environment for Renewable Energy, Green Hydrogen and Energy Efficiency Investment at GIZ Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mr. Joshua Yari Garba. Mr. Garba, you are welcome. Joining them is Director Gas Development and Operations at the Authority. Welcome, Mr. Joseph Musa. You're welcome, sir. And our moderator for the panel, I'd like to welcome Senior Commercial Manager, Chevron Nigeria Limited. Let's welcome Mr. Nwachukwu Aniagolu. So Aniagolu, you are welcome.
Okay, good day everyone. Lovely to be here. My name is Nwachukwu Aniagolu. And welcome to our panelists. It's an honor to sit here next to you and have this very important dialogue about energy transition. So let's start with Joshua. How can energy transition support industrialization, manufacturing, and job creation in the short to medium term? I asked that question. I want to kick us off with that because I think it's important to establish the value proposition that energy transition provides. For a country like Nigeria, which is a developing country that's heavily dependent on fossil fuels, it's not uncommon for people to say, well, what does energy transition have to do with us? We need to get, we're energy poor, and we need to get, improve energy, utilization and production at all costs, regardless of whether it's the most environmentally sound. So let's start with that question. Again, how can energy transition support industrialization, manufacturing, and job creation in the short to medium term? Thank you.
Before we can be comfortable to talk about economic growth, Nigeria must industrialize. I say must because that is where we are and that is what the government wants. And for us to be able to industrialize in this country, we also have to talk about our gas resources, and we have to take advantage of our gas resources. But then at COP26, the government of Nigeria made a commitment alongside other countries to achieve the net zero by 2060. Other countries, some countries made their targets as 2050, some other ones like India went up to 2070. At the end of the day, Nigerian government unveiled the energy transition plan with 5 focus areas: electricity, industry, oil and gas, clean cooking, and also transportation. But then, for us, like I said, to be able to achieve this, we have to look at gas. And I must say this, I hear the MC say over and over, he has said it twice maybe today, that we are supposed to be talking about energy security. Yes, it's true, but also you have to also understand that for example, the energy transition plan lays the foundation for where we want to get to as a country. Now, in the energy transition plan, like I said, 5 focus areas were identified by the federal government with core areas or core focus for the government. Now we have energy access, we have job preservation and creation, and we also have poverty reduction, and of course gas as our fuel for transition. Now, in terms of energy preservation and also creation, I know that the energy transition plan talks about the number of jobs that should be created starting from 2030, which has to do with over 300,000 jobs. Then by 2060, we are looking at almost 1 million jobs. Now, the government established the Energy Transition Office and, of course, now the Decade of Gas Secretariat to be able to support this process. Now, in the past years, we have seen what this plan has supported the Nigerian government in doing. In terms of power, we have seen integration of mini-grids or solar into mini-grids and premium grids for the industrial sector and also the productive energy users. Then we have also seen, in terms of the clean cooking, we have also seen the promotion of clean cooking, even within the SMEs that produce, that manufacture, or that do bread. We have also seen technologies come in terms of the oil and gas sector, technologies such as that of carbon capture. And even recently, I know that the Honorable Minister of State has been leading the team to develop the hydrogen policy for Nigeria, where we could also use our own gas resources to be able to develop especially blue hydrogen. Now, if we begin to run away, this is a global agreement. The energy transition is a global agreement. If we begin to run away from this kind of agreements, we will end up just holding back our own resources ourselves. I know that Saudi Arabia has gone far. They have already signed agreements with a lot of countries in Asia on blue hydrogen, and a lot of countries also in the Europe on blue hydrogen. So these are some of the things that the energy transition stands to bring in terms of economic development and also job creation. Mind you, once our industries are working, more jobs are being created.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I think that's an excellent point to segue, having established that indeed there is a value proposition for energy transition. Let's segue into the discussion around the nexus between energy transition and sustainability. So Chinedu, given the overarching sustainability objectives, how can Nigeria use its gas resources to develop regional power and export markets during the transition phase?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So the good thing is Nigeria is a gas-rich country. And when you talk about energy, fossil fuel energy in the region, Nigeria is actually very mature, be it oil, be it gas. And I mean, we had a project like the West African Gas Pipeline Project that has started off earlier, taking gas, from Nigeria to the West African borders. So what you see is where gas becomes a diplomatic asset for Nigeria, right? Where it's able to build a network of money, energy, and men. Men here it speaks to the skills, within the industry. So if you take a look at the recently published World Oil Outlook, there's still a high demand for energy, and it's largely going to be from the sub-Saharan African area. And then you also see gas and oil playing a very key role. So oil and gas goes up to like 50% of the energy requirement till like 2050. So that's very huge. And whenever the conversations around matching energy and sustainability comes, the key things that are discussed are the just transitioning. And you have to look at it from the point of achieving energy security. So there's never been a conversation around snuffing out countries of energy without looking at energy security. So energy security is paramount. And that energy security means that countries within the sub-region will depend on provider of energy, to be able to progress. So it then means that Nigeria, being rich in gas, should begin to look at strategically how to advance, and with speed really, to advance and make our neighbors utilize the energy source of gas which we have. And importantly, gas being also low carbon fuel. What other thing it benefits is that it addresses the concern about the environmental sustainability. Then it then means that we'd have to make sure that we're able to promote this gas project. The important thing around when you talk about energy and sustainability is and then the energy trilogy is around the affordability, the pricing. So if we then have to look at ways to make these gas prices available to the market. I know it's usually, when the conversation around gas comes, there's usually the conversation on how do you bring down the upstream gas price? But that's the key challenge that we have to look at, because we need to open up markets. So there has to be a cost of opening up markets that Nigeria has to bear to access those markets. Because if you looked at it, if I want to take a gas maybe from here to Ghana, I may pay up like maybe more than, let's say $10 or something. It may not be a price that is attractive to those areas. But what it then does for us is that if we don't carry out these people along in the type of energy we utilize, we'll cut them off from advocating for us that this is the fuel to use. And why I say that is, I've participated in some conversations, at the COP where they talk about things around like transition away from fossil fuel, which was largely at the COP28, where they said let's transition away from fossil fuel. You see countries that are not fossil fuel rich, advocating, yes, let's transition away from fossil fuel. Then you see countries that are fossil fuel rich advocating for the utilization of fossil fuel. So, but one of the key things I would have to then do for us, Nigeria, and to bring more people to advocate with us, is to be very strategic in making sure that our gas resource is also utilized, in other regions of the African country. I'll just stop from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, some very important nuggets that you shared with us there, especially around energy security. Critical to strike a balance between that and decarbonization and general energy transition. All right, so let's segue. Now that we've established the benefits and we know that there are going to be guardrails, by sustainability, let's explore the regional implications around energy transition, since this forum is ultimately focused on the South-South region. So, Joseph, let me turn to you and ask, how can the energy transition plan be region-tailored without creating policy fragmentation? Or is policy fragmentation okay? So I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much. I want to start on the existing protocol and also to bring the goodwill of my authority chief executive engineer Farouk Ahmed. We have heard from the beginning of this discussion the benefits of energy transition. And I want to say energy transition is all about conserving the environment while you achieve your goal. And I'm very happy to hear that while you're pursuing environmental conservation or energy transition, you also look into the fact that we also have some energy deficiency in Nigeria, or I would say energy poverty. My speaker next to me here talk about different aspects of energy transition. You have the solar, you have the gas, and you have the wind and others. So when we look at it as a project developer in NMDPRA, I know one of the key aspects when you want to develop a project is the source of your raw material. If you actually build your project around the raw material, you will discover that you achieve more and the cost will be less. So we are in the South-South here, and we know one of the energy transition that we are considering is gas. And we know that gas in the South-South here is in abundance. So for us to actually look at it in our energy transition plan, in order to conserve the environment, like I said, is to see what kind of activity we can actually put around this gas as a feedstock to be able to drive our energy transition. One of the key areas that authority is actually looking at and pursuing is the area of deepening the LPG utilization in the homes, which also was discussed extensively here. We know LPG is a derivative of natural gas. We also, in our portfolio that we have handled in authority, we have so many investment that has come in for mini grids, so many investment that have come in for mini LNG plants, so many of them that have even come together to cluster as industrial parks. So these are areas that the South-South can actually latch on to actually pursue the energy transition. I also want to say...
So let me interject there. So you've hit on a very important theme. So would you consider a situation where the energy transition for the South-South is focused on gas, whereas that of other regions perhaps is advanced to less carbon, lower carbon alternatives?
Yeah,
simply because of the abundance of gas.
Actually, you just took it out of my mouth. That's what I wanted to say.
Brilliant.
So when we look at other regions like the North, which has abundance of sunshine, it will be very good for them to pursue their energy transition with the solar and maybe the wind in the northeast, kind of. So those are the things that I'm trying to say.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So now we've heard that actually energy transition can be region-specific. It can be nuanced and tailored to factor in the comparative advantage of each of the regions. It doesn't have to be one size fits all for the entire country. So thank you for that insight, Joseph. So Joshua, what economic opportunities and quick wins align with the energy transition goals and sustainable national growth?
Now there are opportunities for investments within the country for local and international investments. There are opportunities for some of these technologies to be manufactured here in Nigeria. I know that we have been working with the Nigerian customs in terms of simplifying the importation, for example, of solar PV panels and batteries and others, taking away also the, what do you call it, the fees that one is supposed to pay. One of the things I know that late Anthony Ayalogu, who was a controller in customs, said that we, as a country, we have to choose between revenue generation and economic development. So in terms of economic development, we are already having solar power plants being for manufacturing here. We have one in Lagos by Oxano Solar, and a lot of them are coming in that way. And we hope to see more of these investments in terms of manufacturing here in Nigeria. Once we are able to get to that level, I think it's something that is that will be very good for Nigeria. Then also tapping, I repeat again, tapping from our gas resources to be able to channel it towards diversifying the gas resources to making, producing also blue hydrogen.
Excellent, excellent. And let me ask a follow-on question. Is there a nexus between the manufacturing and solid minerals, particularly when it comes to photovoltaic cells and things like that?
Yes, there is. And it will interest you to know that we have abundant solid minerals in Nigeria. The new technology that everyone uses at home now, the lithium-ion battery, we have it in abundance. In fact, most of it goes off from here. In terms of batteries that we even use, battery recycling, we have a lot of battery recyclers within the country that are able to do it. I know that EU and also the Asian countries are fighting so hard to see us first do sort of a mini recycling, then sell it to them, then they now produce it over there, then bring it back to us. We have a lot of resources here to be able to produce the solar panels, at the end of the day, I see that what may just a little bit just take time for us to start producing, and maybe little things like the charge controllers and maybe the inverters, but in terms of battery production and solar panels, I think we are good to go.
Excellent, excellent. No, I think that's a brilliant insight, that you can actually have an ecosystem feeding off each other of the different components of the energy transition value chain. Sorry, Godfrey, we can't hear you. Godfrey, we can't hear you, so I think we'll just have to move on. Apologies. You're breaking up, so we'll move on to the next question. So let me swing back to Chinedu. How do we ensure, Chinedu, that gas investments remain viable and environmentally responsible, within a global decarbonization context?
Okay, thank you. SDG 7 provides that opportunity, really. And SDG 7 is on access to clean energy. Gas has that potential, gas already meets that qualification of a clean, what's called energy that can be utilized. So in ensuring that we drive access to clean energy, and that's why when I spoke earlier, I talked about energy security being very important, right? Because when you want to talk about the SDG 7, that everybody has a right to clean energy, we cannot talk about it without talking about gas. So always and continuously, we would have to make sure that gas is our energy source in Nigeria. So I remember I was speaking with the EVP Gas and Power the other day, and he was saying that we keep saying that gas is our transition fuel. That it's time we stop that rhetoric about gas being our transition fuel. Gas is part of the energy mix, and we have to treat it that way. And I will say something, gas has actually been something that has really suffered in our hands from the point where we treated gas as waste in the country, where we had to now finally do an LNG project and exported gas. We're still talking about AKK after years of transporting gas to other countries, right? And then we come in and we say gas was incidental to oil. We had the ACFA and the NACFA's PPT, I think section 11 and 12, where we still talked about, when you find gas, this is how you treat gas, recover it against oil. There was never a time we had treated gas to be commercial. But luckily, the good thing is that the PIA treated gas and said, okay, now you can have a gas PML. But it then has to be how we're intentional in really taking gas to be an energy source for Nigeria, not just treating it as a transition with a mindset that we're just going to go off, right? Or it's a mindset that we're going to leave fossil forever. But we have to have it a mindset that, one, gas is not just transitional, gas is also transformational. So it gives us the opportunity to treat gas as something that has come to stay and something that we can utilize. I just want to say that there was a time we tried this LPG, assessing LPG in market. One of the key things we observed was that because awareness was poor, people thought that LPG, I don't know if you've met with people that use LPG, they tell you how LPG can destroy that's create burn homes and all that. But it took a lot of awareness, for people to begin to accept that. We also talk about CNG. Now we've introduced CNG, right? But what's happening? You find lots of queues. That's why I know that a lot of people don't find it convenient to really convert to CNG. So if we really want to keep the nexus between clean energy using gas and energy transition and sustainability, we would have to make sure that it's available. If it's not available, then there will not be appetite to convert. I'd rather go do a solar, whatever it is, right?
Exactly.
And then you lose out the market. So I'm just calling on all of us as gas people who are gas players, to really see, one, how can we make this gas available? So how can we make this gas price affordable?
So let me ask you a follow-up question then. So how can the South-South states, given this imperative that you just shared, how can the South-South states cooperate to present a united investment proposition rather than piecemeal, so that actually it makes this imperative you just talked about, getting the gas available, more achievable for the South-South as a region? Thank you.
So one of the things, this is actually a very core discussion around sustainability, where resource-rich regions, are denied the opportunity to utilize the resource within their area. So I would say one of the things that the South-South has to focus on, and I like the way I had it before at the panel, where it said, consume, consume, consume. The South-South had to really think of consumption. And consumption is not just providing electricity to homes, because I was just coming from the Ibom airport. Very massive, 6 lanes, 3 lanes here, but very few cars on the road. We haven't brought in the people in the South-South to utilize these energy sources. But are we going to we haven't brought in the industry, we haven't brought in the markets that would utilize this energy. Even if we power all the houses. I remember I was discussing with someone, a friend from River State, and they have 24 hours electricity in that area. You know what they use it for? The guy said because of the 24 hours electricity, they've gone on to build more hotels. And these are not 5-star hotels we're talking of here. We're talking of just like small, let's say 3-star mushroom hotels that people are building. So there's no industry driver. So for the South-South, really, the collective front is to position yourself to consume. Consume, because Nigeria as a whole, Africa as a whole, our total carbon footprint is around 3% contribution to the global carbon footprint. We haven't even started, right? And we have a massive natural, carbon sink, to manage that. So I would also say, I think I would like to make this point around, for us then, importantly, in the South-South as a region, I think it's good to not just position to consume for the industries, also position to be the energy, to be the source to drive the change of tomorrow. And with that I'm saying, look at AI, look at data banks, because these are huge energy consumers. And not only are they huge energy consumers, they actually provide lots of jobs and actually provide very high earning capacity for those who work around in those industries. Brilliant. So don't think low, think very high earning power.
Brilliant. Thank you. That is a key insight. I mean, AI is something that is topical. It's, on the forefront, the cutting edge of technology. And yes, the energy requirements for AI and other related, blockchain and things like that are huge. So there's a tremendous opportunity to key into that sector, provide energy to that sector, and then enjoy the benefits of having the AI, businesses established within the South-South region. So thank you, Chinedu. So let me round up with a couple of questions for Joshua and also as for the regulator. So Joshua, what single regulatory change in this space, energy transition, would unlock, in your view, the most private capital in the short to medium term?
Okay, quickly now, because I see the MC standing. I think one thing that our documents, or should I say our regulatory documents lack, is issues that surround investments, the kind of investments required, business cases. I think we need to incorporate into these frameworks or regulatory frameworks, investment opportunities that exist and what the investors stand to gain at the end of the day. Because if they don't see numbers, a lot of them are not able to come in. Because what we are talking about is we are not trying to phase gas out now. We are saying that in the long run, when others are backing out, at least we also need to be prepared for this. So we need to begin to show numbers for investors, either local or international investors, to come in.
Excellent, excellent. So then let me round up the last question with Joseph. So what is the, what success metric, jobs, emissions, etc., should be tracked quarterly to judge our progress as a nation on the energy transition journey?
Thank you very much.
And if you can do that in 2 minutes, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, I will try and do that. Thank you very much. I think one of the key metrics that we need to measure, that is what we are actually doing in NMDPRA on a weekly and also on a monthly basis, is how many investment have gone into these activities that will drive this energy transition. For instance, in my department, how many project applications have come in, how many project applications have I approved, how many projects are in execution phase, and what are the target delivery dates. So if we're able to monitor that, we'll be able to know how much we are gaining grounds on this energy transition. Because we all know that if these projects are up and running, definitely it will bring about the desired job creation and also the desired returns on investment. So these are the keys. How many projects we are getting, how many applications I'm getting, how many projects I'm approving per week, and how many of them are progressing as it should be. And I just want to also let you know, one of the key things that our Executive Chief Authority does is to have a forum where we invite these proponents or these applicants or these project executors to know if there are challenges along the way and what can we do to enable the business so that they can move faster than they're supposed to be. Thank you very much.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much to our distinguished panelists. Please give them a round of applause. I think there have been some amazing insights shared in this conversation. So with that, I will hand over back to...
All right, thank you very much. Just indulge me for 2-3 minutes. Let's take a closing remarks from the General Counsel of GSCN. Let's welcome Taya Rose-Viver for her concluding. Just remain seated there for a few minutes to do that. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. May I please stand on the already established protocol? And would like to say a big thank you to everyone that's made time out to be here with us from yesterday, and then you're here today as well. For those who have joined online virtually, we say a big thank you to you. We are also very grateful to the state government for your accommodation, for your reception. We've had a brilliant time here in Akwa Ibom. To our panelists, to the speakers, the moderators, we say a big thank you also to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedules to be here in Uyo to spend 2 days with us. Also to the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Honorable Minister, we say a big thank you. NNPC leadership, the regulatory bodies, our partners, we say a heartfelt appreciation to you. Thank you all for coming. To the organizing team, thank you for working tirelessly to ensure that we deliver on this event. You are exceptional. We see you. We appreciate you. And thank you also very much. And to all that will be traveling back, we wish you safe travels back to your various destinations. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We've come to the end of the South-South Gas Utilisation Forum 2025. And of course, the conversations has taken place. It is now up to the government and people of the South-South to take up that mantle and run with the utilization of gas resources in their region.